All right, everyone, and welcome again to Multiple Income Streams for Realtors, Maximizing You. This is kind of a passion project of mine. It's why I came to Exit Realty a decade ago, was that I just saw my first 10 years in the business. I've been in the business a total of 20 years now. And the first 10 years in the business, I saw a lot of really, I would call it sad financial positions in realtors, sometimes myself included, where we were in tremendous amounts of debt. We lived commission check to commission check. And I would meet a couple realtors that were older and, had no retirement savings set up whatsoever, had no real estate to speak of. And I really thought, boy, this is sad. We set ourselves up as an industry where, everyone's expected to have a nice car. You spend a lot of money on advertising. You pay your own health insurance. You're obviously paying for that car. And yet you have no retirement plan, and you have no ability to really even talk about anything beyond living commission check to commission check, because most brokerages aren't discussing it with you, and there's no vehicle to do so. So again, this was a passion project of mine. As I came to Exit, I've just gotten more and more passionate about it as the more I've gotten to know people in the real estate industry all over the country and what they're dealing with financially, both when the market crashed and when the market does well. I see realtors doing less than what they could be doing for their own financial future and their families, and that's scary to me. So I want to go ahead and get this started in terms of what we want to do today. We are going to do a couple different things with these slides here, and we're going to really get it going in terms of what we want to achieve. So let's start off. Here's the issue: untapped income potential. You have a real estate license. The vast majority of real estate agents I know, all they're doing with that license is they are buying and selling real estate for other people. They're not thinking about it for themselves. They're not saving for their retirement. They're not buying real estate to help fund their retirement. So again, agents, they're going paycheck to paycheck, or I should say commission check to commission check. They're not thinking about their retirement. They're spending all their money. And there is no pension plan. There is no built-in company savings plan. We also, again, as agents, frequently fail to invest in real estate for ourselves. We're talking about what a great investment it is, but we're not doing anything to actually turn around and do it on our own. So there's two types of real estate we can invest in. I'll talk about that later, but that's the issue. We're not doing it. We maybe have a primary residence, but we don't have any plans in place or ability to actually turn around and fund some real estate investment for ourselves. So I want people to think. Some people on this webinar, I think today, are not at Exit. This is something that maybe if you're not at Exit, you should think about Exit. If you don't want to come to Exit, then hopefully your company will figure something out with you. But I will tell you this much: I looked far and wide and continue to look far and wide and found nothing anywhere near as compelling as the Exit Realty 10% residuals. I was at a profit-sharing company. I have looked into some of the other multi-level feeling companies, and I just did not see anything there that was anywhere near as lucrative, as immediate, or as long-term as the Exit residual formula. And I do continue to monitor that, so I'm hopefully aware of everything that's out there. So I want you to think in multiple ways, outside the box, beyond your current listings and sales, into this concept. So what is the opportunity? We want you to maximize your license. The easiest way to a second source of income beyond buying and selling real estate for other people is to build a team and attract and mentor agents to Exit. So that really is step one. I'm going to explain with my own personal story in a little bit how you have to kind of go step by step, because depending on where you are with your finances, when I came to Exit, I was flat broke, and I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. But I want you to think step by step on this. The first thing is you probably want to make more money. Unless you're making so much money right now that you've got savings, or you just can instantly start to save up money, you've got to make more money. Now, this is not a course on lead generation. That's a whole different course. This is a course on thinking outside the box. So we're going to ask you to maximize your license. The easiest way to do that, you're probably out there meeting agents. If you're going to industry events like, Chicago Association of Realtors has YPN, WCR, all these different organizations that are so fantastic, all the training opportunities that your local MLS or your board of realtors has. Why are you not at those attempts, learning, networking? And by the way, hearing that probably there are agents at other companies that are unhappy. Either they're at some of these newer virtual companies that have no local training, they have no local staff, there's no leadership, or that they're at a company where their splits are very low or there's no cap. So there's all different kinds of ways to attract. And one of the simplest ways to attract is if you are starting to build a team, you're probably going to be needing to bring agents into the company anyway. You want to bring people in from outside the company. So the opportunity to start is to build your team and to help exit grow. So that's job one. 10% residuals can be a six-figure source of income. And actually, I think this is probably a good time to jump into talking about my personal story and how this kind of transpired for me, because it actually creates the full chart that we're going to go into in a minute. So the first thing is, if you're going to build a team or if you're going to help attract the company, by the way, this is not necessarily going to be a full, half hour on sponsoring. I don't want this to be just about sponsoring, but it's going to start out, this is your first vehicle for success, is sponsoring agents into the company. When I came to exit, again, I was flat broke. I came in 2008, right as the real estate market crashed. I came over on my 30th birthday from a competitor. The first 2 years I was as an exit, I was absolutely passionate about bringing people to exit. I brought people over, but I used those residual dollars, those 10% residuals. They were significant pretty quickly for me because I did get passionate about it, about the system, about attracting. What I do is I just meet people at networking events, realtor networking events. I talk about the company. I would invite people to training. If you're at my offices, you've got a lot of opportunity to invite people to training, some of our big monthly events, some of our parties. It's not about selling people in the company. Nobody wants to be sold, but there's the opportunity to attract, because a lot of companies are just these days, they're not doing that stuff anymore. So the first 2 years I did attract people to the company, but I literally paid my bills using residuals. So I say there right at the top, don't spend the residuals. That's not the point. We want this to be another source of income, but it's got to go somewhere else. You can't just lump this into your commissions that you're already spending all of it. In order to build wealth and multiple income streams, you have to save your residuals. So at the beginning, I did it wrong, but I quite frankly had to pay my bills. And you may be in that spot for a little bit too. But you've got to then turn around and say, what are my long-term goals? What's that chart that we're going to talk about in a little bit that you may have seen on social media that got you interested in this webinar? What are my goals? So first of all, what I had to do, not only pay my bills, I had to start paying down debt. I had a lot of debt. And I had to do that first because I knew long-term I wanted to buy property. I wanted to start some residual-based businesses, some what we call mailbox money. But I knew that I had to first pay down debt. After I did that, job one for me, job one for a lot of you guys is probably saving up enough money to have a safe roof over your own head. You're probably going to want to buy your own primary residence first if you're not there yet. Some of you guys on this webinar may already be well there, and you're like, well, I have my house. That's where a lot of agents stop. They buy their primary residence, they're happy. I was lucky enough in 3 years, once I paid down my debt and I became debt-free, I turned around, and from 2010 to 2012, I saved up enough money in residuals. And again, I sponsored a lot of people in the company over the years. It was not at a six-figure level at that point, but now it is. But I saved up enough at that point to be able to purchase my first, my primary residence. So I was able to do that. That was great. I was very happy with that. However, I wasn't done yet. I wanted mailbox money. So my next step, and it may be your next step, that you're going to turn around and after you buy your primary residence, whether you save up enough to buy it cash or you just save up enough for a significant down payment through your residuals, as a realtor, once you start attracting people to the company, save those residuals and buy real estate. My next step after I bought my primary residence for the next 3 years, I saved the next round of residuals as they came in. I wanted to do flipping. So that was my next thing. That was my passion project. It took me 3 years to save up enough to start that. And that was my flipping company. I'm not going to get into the conversation of should you flip first or should you buy and hold first. I am right now feeling like this may be a good time to start buying and holding. There's a lot of industry information saying the flip, there's not enough inventory to find good flips. That's up to you to have that dialogue with yourself. I now have my flipping company at a good place where we're able to actually make profit. So my fourth source of income, and we're going to get to that chart you guys I know want to get to in a second. My fourth source of income is going to be buy and hold properties. That is going to be a separate corporation. So if you think about it, here's how it's going to look. The end goal here is going to be multiple six-figure income streams and zero debt. So you've got to have a business plan for each income stream. That's a start. You've got to use probably, I would say, the 411 for accountability and goal setting. If you don't have that template, it's on my LinkedIn blog. I talk about it extensively on there. And you've got to track your assets in each category as you build. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a second. You also have to do a profit and loss statement so you aren't only focused on gross income. That's the same way as your real estate business. If you said you made $100,000 last year, you grossed $100,000. What did you net? By the time you paid the brokerage, by the time you paid your expenses, and by the time you paid the IRS, you did not make anywhere near $100,000. So we have to track the gross and celebrate a little bit, but you also have to track the net. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. You have to set a yearly goal in each category and update your progress monthly. And you're going to have to realize this is not quick. It is not easy. It takes years. And I'm only there in 2 out of 4. I will show you what I mean in a second, but I'm only there in 2 out of 4. I'm about to break into it in the third, and the fourth category will take probably the longest. But when I'm done, I will have an incredible multiple six-figure income stream. I already have 2, my sales, my personal sales, and my residuals. When I'm done, when the flippings when the flipping company is doing what it should be, and when my buy and hold company is off the ground doing what it should be, that is a lot of mailbox money. And that is something that every single one of you can do. You just have to start at square one, what we're outlining here. So what does it look like? Here it is. This is the multiple income streams chart. And we're going to do this, and we want to also have you track some other numbers as we move forward. But this webinar is really to get you thinking, get you started in the process, because what we find right now is agents are very one-track minded on sales volume. They're not even really going through, and I'm going to try, I don't think I can highlight this, but let me go back in and open this up here. There we go. If you see where I'm pointing my cursor here, even in commissions, agents are so focused on their gross, they're not tracking their net. And some agents aren't even doing that. They're talking about their volume. We need to get you into multiple categories. Exit's the only company where we can take you right away into something significant with residuals. So you've first got to start, doing your commissions, counting your commissions. The agent report card, the exit agent report card is excellent for that. So let's go through this step by step. Business plan. You better have a business plan for your real estate sales business. If you do not have one and you're one of my offices or I've sponsored you into the company, I'm more than happy to show you what that business plan looks like. It's very, very easy. It's simply an outline with 5 to 7 specific objectives. What is assets in place? For commissions, that's going to be active buyers. So buyers you've got some sort of agreement with, whether that's a handshake agreement or you consider an active buyer. Or that is listings, active listings. Sales pending can also count, but it's not your closed deals. Assets in place is for future. Income stream, obviously, that's the income stream we're talking about, which is commissions. Gross year to date. I want you to track your gross income year to date, and then also your net income. If you're not doing a profit and loss statement for your real estate sales business, you are doing yourself a huge disfavor. I knew what my gross was for years. I did not know what my net was. And I was shocked to see where I was throwing away money. That's another Money Monday call. We'll definitely do that profit and loss statement again soon for you. But just know you need to be tracking that net and always have a goal. So commissions, the reason why I stacked this in this order, commissions is going to come first because that's what we're already in the business of as real estate agents. That is the easiest or first category. Then the next category down, residuals. You need to have a business plan in place in order to be getting residuals. People do not magically track they don't magically attract agents to the company accidentally. That doesn't happen. It happens when you strategically invite people, you network with people, you attract people. You don't sell them on the company, you're simply attracting them to events and to opportunities and to training and coaching. So you've got to have a business plan for your residuals, and I can help you with that. Assets in place, that is your recruits. That is your active recruits into exit. And if all you have to do is go into the ERC, the Exit Resource Center, log in and under reports, it'll tell you how many people you have. And if you have no assets in place, you have no people you've sponsored in the company, guess what? You know the numbers over on this right-hand column. These are going to be 0, 0, 0 because there is no way to have residuals without people you've sponsored into the company. So again, you need a business plan. You need assets in place. I want you to track how many people you have at the company. If you have one person, you're not going to make a six-figure income every year off them. You've got to have more people. So let's go down to the next one. Now, I don't care whether you start with buy and hold investment properties or flips. I'm kind of feeling like right now it may be a great time to do buy and hold before interest rates go up. But I've got this in the order that I did it in. Obviously, commissions, I had to hit six figures in that. Residuals, I wanted to hit six figures in that. Those two are the only ones I've completed as six-figure year after year. Flips, I'm working on that one. That one should be completed for next year. Buy and hold, that's a tough category to get into six figures because you've got to amass a good amount of money to buy that property with 20% down, which is what most investment properties, these buy and hold investment properties, are going to require down because obviously it's not going to be your primary residence unless you are buying a 2 to 4 flat as your primary residence, which that is a genius thing to do, and I'm seeing more clients do. We can strategize about that on a different call as well. But what I want to stress is that in each of these categories, you have to have a business plan in place. So that's just an outline of how you're going to get there. And you've got to have assets in place. So you've got to have a business plan in order to get assets. And again, what are your assets in each category? That is the contracts or the people that are the properties. So the contracts, people, or properties that are going to physically make you this gross and net money towards your goal. So you've got to figure that out. So again, on commissions, assets in place is going to be contracts, active contracts, buyers you're working with, listings, and sales pending. Residuals, that is active. Your assets in place are a number of people you've already brought into the company. Flips, people talk about flipping all the time, but if you have no flips under contract or that you've acquired and that you're trying to do the work and get the finished product, then you don't have anything in that category. Buy and hold, well, I'm going to be an investor. You've got to save money to do that. So that, again, that's why these are in this order. You've got to get commissions going. It's because I'm assuming the best way for almost all of us to recruit people in the company, which is the second category, is going to be going out and meeting other agents and doing deals. So commissions, then residuals, then your flips and buy and holds. Each one of these can absolutely be a six-figure income for you, but you've got to have a business plan first in order to get assets in place. Once you have assets in place, you've got to work those assets to get your gross and net numbers for the year and then your goal numbers for the year. So what is my vision for you? Again, that is mailbox money. All of us, our primary job is to sell real estate. That is job one. I don't think that's ever going to change for any of us. That's going to be our primary job. But over the next decade, 2 decades, you're going to want to enhance your lifestyle. You're going to want to have that mailbox money. You want to do more, bigger, better. I can't think of a better company to be at. The only company that is giving 10% residuals for helping build the company that can turn around and fund your flips and your buy and hold investments, which that is going to be your retirement. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them now. Otherwise, email me right after this. I am going to put this up as a YouTube video on my YouTube channel very, very shortly today, probably within the next half hour to 45 minutes, so you can play it back. This is the first of many things I want to do on Money Mondays, where this takes you out of just being an agent, buying and selling real estate, living from commission check to commission check, and actually making you a powerful real estate entity, potentially with multiple entities, multiple six-figure income streams as real estate agents. Every single one of us at Exit has this opportunity, but so few take advantage of it. Again, it took me years to get into 2 categories. I'm about to turn this into 3 categories of multiple six-figure income streams. Please come with me, learn from my mistakes. I'm here to help you, and I will share what is working as well as what I could have worked on earlier and better. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I look forward to our next one. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.